In this tutorial, we will solve a problem maximum sum circular subarray. So the problem statement is given a circular array of integers, find the maximum possible sum of a non-empty subarray. And a circular array means the end of the array connects to the beginning of the array. For example, let's take an array of size 4, and in this array 4 elements are present, 1 2 3 4. So let's write down its indexes. So 0 1 2 3. So now imagine if you have to traverse this array, what you can do, you simply run a loop and print the element which is present at 0th, 1st, 2nd and 3rd indexes. Now imagine if this is a circular array, then what you can do, you visit all the element up to this point, and then after that you again visit the element present at 0th, 1st, 2nd and 3rd indexes. So you can imagine this array in this way. So after visiting this element, you visit the element which is present at 0th index, then 1st index, then 2nd index and then 3rd index. Now if you have to traverse this array, what you do, so you simply run a loop from 0th index, and its terminating condition is length multiplies by 2. So you have to visit all the element once more. So it means we have to traverse an array double the size of this array, and then we print the element present at I modulus length. So length is 4, and why we are doing it, so let's understand this. So the when we do 0 modulus 4, it will give you 0. So we print the element present at 0th index. When we do 1 modulus 4, so it will give you 1. Similarly, when we do 2 modulus 4, so when we do the modulus operator, it will give you the remainder. Similarly, for 3 it will give you 3. So when we do 4 modulus 4, in this case the remainder is 0. Again we goes back to 0th index. Then 5 modulus 4, which is 1, so we goes back to this index. Similarly this index and then this index, and after that we came out of this loop. So in this way we visit all the elements of a circular array. So in this way we visit all the element twice. And now let's move to one more condition of this problem statement. So in this subarray, so also a subarray may only include each element of the fixed buffer array at most once. So when we have to find the subarray, when we have to find the maximum sum circular subarray, we have to visit each element once. It can't be like this, that when we start from this point and we add 1 2 3 4 and again we add 1 2 3 4. No, it's not like that. We have to include each element at most one. Let's understand this problem statement through an example. So in the first example, the subarray, which only consists of 4, has the maximum sum, so the output is 4. So we can form multiple subarrays, and out of which this subarray has the maximum sum. And this array is circular. It means after this element we again go back to 0th index, then 1st, then 2nd index. So that's why I have written this array in this way, so that you can imagine in a circular fashion. So now in the second example, if we see this subarray, which consists of 5 comma 5, has the maximum sum. So I mean after this point we include this element, so the sum is 10. And in the third example, the subarray from this point to this point has the maximum sum, so from this point to this point, and the sum is 4. And in the fourth example, we have multiple subarrays whose sum is equal, and this sum is maximum. So the maximum subarray sum is 3. So one subarray is 3, and one subarray is from this point to this point. And in the fifth example, all the array elements are negative, and out of which this subarray, which only consists of -1, has the maximum sum, so -1 is the output. So you can visualize it like this: -2 is one sub array, -3 is one sub array, -1 is one sub array, like this, and out of which we have to choose the maximum sum sub array. So this is the problem statement, and now let's discuss multiple approaches to solve this problem. Let's start with the easiest approach, and the easiest approach is to try out all the combination of sub arrays to find the sub array whose sum is maximum. And at any point I'm traversing an array element up to the size of an array. And why up to the size of an array? Because we have to include the array element once. So given this array, and this array, we have to imagine this in a circular fashion, that after visiting this element, we visit at 0th index, then first, then second, and we have to include the element at most once. So the logic here is to traverse an array from this point to this point, and in next iteration traverse an array from this point to this point, you can see, and then from this point to this point, and try out all the combination of sub arrays. So here I'm using 2 for loops, and here is the logic of inner loop. So inner loop will run from I to I plus length. So when I say I to I plus length, it means when the value of I is 0 in first iteration, so it means it goes up to 0 to 3, so it goes up to 0 to second index, so it is less than equal to 3, and in second iteration it will goes from 1 to 4, so it will visit 1 to 3. So third index is nothing, but it's again goes back to 0th index, and then in next iteration it will go from 2 to 5. So in this way we will solve this problem. So if you see in the first array, so first we start from 0, so the inner loop start from 0 to 3, and first initial value of sum is 0, so sum plus we take this array, and this index modulus the length of an array. So I already explained the concept of this modulus. So when the value of j is 0, it means we have to pick the element of 0th index, so we get 0. When we do the modulus 0 modulus this 3, it will give you 0. So the sum is 5, and the max initial value of max sum is the integer minimum value. So 5 is greater than this value, so max sum is 5, and next the value is 3. So when we add this value, it is 2. So here the value of j is 1 modulus 3, which is 1. So the value of sum is 2, and when we do the when we find the maximum between max sum and sum, so max sum value of max sum is 5 and sum is 2, so there is no change in the value of max sum, and then we pick this element, which is 5. So the value of sum is 2, so 2 plus 5, which is 7. So here the value of max sum is updated to 7. Now we came out of this loop and we goes back to the outer loop, and in outer loop this time the I will start from this point. So the value of I is 1, and it goes up to 4, so it will goes up to third index. And now the first and second iteration is straightforward. For example, the value of when the value of j is 1, it means we have to pick this element -3. So the value of sum is -3, so initial value is 0. So when we goes to next iteration, it means this sum is also reset. So when we came here in inner loop, so the value of sum is 0, so it is now it is -3, and no changes in max sum value, as it is 7, and then the value here is 5. So when we add 5, it is 2, and again there is no change, and now the value of j is 3. So when we do 3 modulus 3, it goes back to 0th index, and the value present at 0th index is 5. So now it is 7, and again there is no change in value. So we came out of this loop and we goes to this outer loop, and the value of sum is reset to 0, and then we start from I. The value of I is 2 and I plus length, so length is 5, so it goes to second, third and fourth index. And now let's see, there is nothing called third and fourth index, but see how we are handling it. So second index means second index exists, so when we do 2 modulus 3, it means it goes to second index, which is 5. So the value of sum is 5 and max sum value is already 7, so there is no change. And so in next iteration the value is 5, so the value of sum is 10. Now the value is updated, which is 10. And now you can see when the value is 3, so when we do 3 modulus 3, it will goes to 0th index. It means we go to this index, and then in next iteration the value is 4, so 4 modulus 3, which is 1, and we have to check the value present at first index, which is minus 3. Now the value of sum is 7 and the value of max sum is 10. So we came out of this loop, and after that we came out of this for loop as well, and we return the maximum sum, which is 10. So this this is the one way to solve this problem, but when you try this on coding platforms, it will give you time limit exceed exceptions. So I'll try I have tried it on LeetCode. So out of 109 test cases, 101 test cases has passed, and rest of them gets time limit exceed exceptions. So let's talk about its time and space complexity. So its time complexity is O1 square and its space complexity is O1. So now let's move to next approach in which we solve this problem in a much efficient way. Let's discuss our second approach. So after going through multiple examples, and in our previous approach we have seen following two cases. So following two cases are possible. First, the maximum subarray is found in non-circular array. What it means is, while traversing this array we can form many subarrays, and out of which this subarray, which consists of only 3 or 3 minus 2, it has the maximum sum, which is 3. Now if you take the example of this array, in that case the maximum subarray sum we get from this subarray. So the one case is the maximum subarray is found in non-circular array. Now the second case is the maximum subarray is found across circular subarray. So what it means is, so let's take this array 5 minus 3, 5. So we can form multiple subarrays, but the subarray starting from this point and ending at this point has the maximum sum. So it has these two elements 5 and 5, and the sum is 10. How do we get the maximum sum in this case? So if you observe this array, we get the maximum sum by taking the total sum and subtracting the minimum subarray sum. So in this case the total sum is 7 and the minimum subarray sum is minus 3. So the minimum subarray array in this case is only this subarray, which has only one element, which is minus 3. And if we subtract the sum of this minimum subarray sum from this total sum, we get 10. So we get the answer 10. So you can see, if we subtract this part from the total sum, we get the maximum sum. So this is how we can obtain the maximum sum in this case. So the first case can be easily handled through the cadence algorithm, and for the second case we have to compute the minimum subarray sum so that we can come at this conclusion. Now suppose given this array, so we don't know whether computing the maximum sum circular subarray, whether it will fall in this case or in this case. So what we have to do is we have to compute both the cases, and then the maximum sum circular subarray is max of the sum obtained in this case and max of the sum obtained in this case. So out of these two, whichever has the maximum sum is the final maximum sum circular subarray. And what if all the array elements are negative, for example -1, -2 and -3? So in that case we can directly return the maximum subarray sum, because in case of maximum subarray sum we get -1. So we don't have to, we don't have to check this condition, we can simply return it, so it has the maximum sum. And now this solution requires the knowledge of cadence algorithm. So let's quickly revisit the cadence algorithm. So how do we find maximum subarray sum using cadence algorithm? So what we do is we take two variable, so max. So in this variable we assign the integer minimum value. So whatever the minimum value possible we assign in this max variable, and current max will add the array elements. So now let's say the first element is -5 and the initial value of current max is 0. So we add 0 plus -5, which is -5, and in max, so it has assigned the integer minimum value. So if we take the max of integer minimum value and -5, so -5 is max, so let's assign it. Now the current max is negative, so what we do is we reassign with 0 and then we pick the next element, which is 4. So let's add 4 here, so the new value of current max is 4. And now let's take the maximum out of -5 and 4, so the maximum is 4. Now the next element is -6, and let's add -6 in current max. So current max value is 4, and if we add -6, so the new value is -2. And when we take the max of 4 and -2, 4 is the maximum, so there is no change in the max value. And after that we came out of this loop and we return the max, which is 4. So this is the cadence algorithm. Now let's see the code of this approach. So here we have to handle two cases. So we have to find the maximum subarray sum, and also we have to find the minimum subarray sum. So I have already explained why we need this. And then what we do is we iterate this array and we take care these two conditions. And before that let's see a few variables. So here the max and mean. So in max I have assigned the integer minimum value, and in mean I have assigned the integer maximum value. And the current max and current mean, as we iterate the array element, we add the array elements. So that's why we need the current max and current mean, and the total will store the sum of all the array elements. So while iterating this array, we know these three statements are the step of cadence algorithm. So we simply while finding the max sub array sum, what we do is we add the array element, and at any time if it less than 0, then we assign 0 to the current max, and at each step we keep track of maximum sum. And in current, to find the current mean, we do the opposite. What we do is we add the array element and we keep track of minimum element, and at any point if it is positive, so we if it is positive, we reassign with 0, so that we can keep track of minimum element. So here so let's dry run this code. So the first array element is 5, so current max is 5, initial value is 0, max is 5. So in max we compare the integer minimum value and 5, so we get 5 here, and the current max is already greater than 0, so no need to reassign. And in current mean, the value is 5, and the minimum value is mean and current mean. So in mean we assign the integer max value, and it is the 5, so it is 5 and it is greater than 0. So what we do is we reinitialize with 0, and in next iteration the element is -3. So the value of current max is 2, and the value of max remains unchanged, and in current max we don't have to reinitialize with 0, and in current mean the value is 0, so it is -3, and the minimum of 5 and -3, it is -3, and we don't have to reinitialize with 0 as it is already negative. So, and the next element is 5. So current max, the value of current max is 2. If I add 5, it is 7, and the maximum is 7, and we don't have to reinitialize the current max. And in minimum, if I add 5, it is 2, the minimum remains unchanged, and the current mean is 0. And also we keep adding all the array elements, so we get here, so 5 plus 5, 10, and 10 minus 3, we get 7. So after that we came out of this loop, and is the value of max is less than 0? No, so we don't have to return this max. So this condition is for the case where all the array elements are negative. Now let's see the maximum of these two cases. So the value of max is 7, and the total is 7 minus the minimum is -3. So the max between 7 and 10 is 10, so we return 10. So the maximum sum circular sub array is 10. So this is how we can solve this problem using this approach. Now let's talk about its time and space complexity. So its time complexity is O(n), and its space complexity is O(1). So that's it for this video tutorial. For more such programming videos, you can subscribe our YouTube channel. You can visit our website, which is https://webrewrite.com. Thanks for watching this video, and please don't forget to like this video.